Hi, I'm Mike Van Zutphen, USPTA Master Professional, and today's video is going to encompass 8 specific exercises in the development of players for movement, ball position, execution, timing, concentration, control, and consistency. These exercises are essential ingredients into the development of a tennis player, and we will show you these drills. The first drill is called the box drill. And it is the box drill to the outside, which the balls tend to go about 12 or 25% of the time in a tennis match. So this drill covers the outside portion of the court. Drill number 2 will cover the box drill to the middle court, okay, which is again an area of the court where the ball will tend to land. Okay. Third drill is called the center court drill, which is the movement of the shots or balls played to the middle court. Fourth drill is a 4-cone drill, which encompasses 2 types of movement, a turn and drive and a shuffle drill. Okay? The 5th drill is called first volley, and this drill is practice of the first volley without using the serve and the first progression in the development of serve and volley. The 6th drill will be serve and volley itself. And that drill is an advanced tactic where players use that exercise to come forward and control the front court. The 7th drill will be a passing shot exercise with a volley. And then we're going to show you that exercise where the player has to practice a defensive skill as well as an offensive skill. And the last drill is up back, which practices the middle court portion where the development of the player from the middle court to the front court. Here you can see that I'm keeping all players active and busy in the activity of drill development. Players are shadowing in the back while the actual hitting of the balls is done in the front. The first part of the exercise, you'll see that they shuffle around the 3 cones and then position themselves to execute to a specific target. Now, this exercise can be done in different ways. I happen to use cones. You could make chalk marks on your court to use the position of the players, and they're executing to the outside portions of the court. Notice that's why it's called a box drill to the outside. All right? And they switch after 8. You could use this for 12. 16 players could be doing the same exercise on one court. Okay? All right, now watch them shift, and here we go. Now this is the outside portion of the stroke. Typically, you give your players a goal of making X number of shots. They do 8-shot sequences, which is about a 30-second time frame. And in our training, we're at a ratio of about 1:2 right now. And then as they get more fit, we go 1:1 and then decrease the rest period. So this is about 1:2 ratio. And they're adjusting, executing, concentrating, trying to make 8 balls in a row. Now we're training these players to hit from the center court, and this is the 2nd drill, and it's called box court drill to the middle. And really what it's doing is teaching the player from the middle position of the court to execute directionally correct. Okay? So their feet are doing somewhat the same characteristic, but they're practicing a shot from more towards the center portions of the court. There are 3 lanes or alleys in the court. Like bowling alleys. There's an alley to the outside, which is about halfway between the center service line and the single sideline. An alley from the other side on that side. So there's 3 bowling alleys. And they're practicing in the 2 outside alleys right now. And this is only 25% of all shots in tennis land to those portions of the court, whereas 75% of the shots in tennis land towards the middle portion of the court. So this is drill number 2, and we call it box drill to the middle. And really it's practicing and complementing the footwork exercises that we have Robert Page doing for TMI and the training of their footwork. Notice the outside foot comes around on each side, they balance themselves, and then they do that little step around with the back foot, which allows weight transfer to be consistent. So that's why we do that. We have these players do this, and then there's no inactivity. So everybody on the court has an activity or a program, rather than just having kids stand around and watching. This is good for high school coaches, college coaches. This would be good for anybody who wants to organize their lesson in an activity that's very, very good for their development. All of these players are hitting to the backhand corner, and usually at the beginning stages of tennis and at the advanced stages, the top players pick on the individual's backhand, not the forehand. So we're having them target specifically to that half of the court with the execution of their shots. This is called the center court drill. Again, all players are active in the participation of the practice. The exercise is designed so that the players learn to adjust to the ball from the middle court position and then still execute directionally correct. So notice that the players are running around a specific ball that's placed to the center position of the court. This can be done either by feeding. I happen to use a ball machine because it's easy, and then I can be right here on hand with the development of the player. Okay, and then work through the physical portion of their practice. Now notice each time that I've got an 8-ball sequence again. There's about 30 seconds for each player on the execution of the shot. Now notice they're moving around the ball that's being placed to the center while the outside players are shadowing and practicing their movement, that the box drill that you just saw. Now this is a shuffle exercise, or a dynamic where they shuffle forward to set the feet to get around and organize themselves so that they can execute in the middle court. Remember, 75% of the balls that are played in a match land more center court and not to the outsides. This is called the 4-cone drill. Okay, the reason I have it is we have 2 different types of movement in tennis. A turn and drive move, which presents us to the ball quickly, and then a shuffle move. Okay, so that they're practicing 2 different movements, yet they're still practicing the skill, forehand, backhand, etc., and then the position of the feet to align to set up and execute the shot. So on the outside cones, it's our turn and drive. They move forward to the ball as soon as they see it come out, while the inside or center 2 cones are set up in a shuffle format, as the feet move differently for those as they do for the outside portion or the outside 2 cones. And that's why we call it a 4-cone drill. it encompasses two types of movement, turn and drive and shuffle. Now you could do this drill with, we happen to have 4 players today. You could do this with 8 players, while 2 players and a player in each cone is waiting on deck, shuffling or bouncing. You could do this with 16 players, okay, where you have 4 in each line, and then they're doing the same types of movement. And it only requires somebody to either feed 2 balls, or in my case, I'm using a ball machine, to set 2 balls there for the players to execute. Sally's demonstrating a runaround forehand, while Maria's demonstrating the turn and drive to the ball. Turn and drive to the ball. Now that's a different movement than it is the shuffle. So notice it's a 4-cone exercise, and all 4 players are actively involved in the practice. This is just station training. That's all we're doing, setting up stations for the players to execute. And that way I can keep all my players active, even at a very, very high level, which these players are. So that's just a good way to manage your court. In tennis, we have 3 portions of a court. We have the 3 alleys I explained earlier, the outside portion, and the middle alley, and then the outside alley. Okay, so we have 3 alleys. Okay, there's 3 portions of the court that are divided into sections which are front to back. Okay, so this portion of the court from the service line forward is considered in tennis the front court. From here, from the service line all the way back, is considered the back court. Now, we've drawn 3 imaginary lines. We put imaginary line about 3 feet in front of the service line all the way across the court. From this portion of the court forward, I'm going to give you the letter K for kill zone or put away zone. Okay, so we have K in this portion of the court. Okay, 3 feet in front of the service line, which is this line, okay, and 3 feet behind, this 6-foot portion of the court is considered the attack zone. That means the door's open for the player to come to net and volley, approach, come forward to try to get into the attack zone, okay, or the kill zone. All right, and then the last portion of the court where the imaginary line starts here all the way to the back is considered the defensive portion of the court. So we have KAD, kill, attack, defense. These zones dictate to you, 1, your shot selection, 2, when it is appropriate to run to net. Because sometimes players run in and they don't understand position, court position, and then that execution. So we have to define it in these zones, and they're called kill, attack, and defense. This is the attack zone where the first volley is taken. And their goal when they come in and they're feeding the ball underhand intentionally is to practice their split step, the timing of their split step, and the execution of the first ball, which is typically taken in the attack zone. So we're going to have the player make the volley here. And the player on that side, we have 4 players on the court, will be executing the return of that shot to give this player a chance to execute the first volley. Okay? So this is what the exercise looks like, and the name of this drill is called the first volley. Okay? All right, ladies, go. Good. Okay. Now they feed the ball underhand, run in, split step as the ball bounces on that side, so they get the timing of the split, okay, and then try and set their feet so they can organize for the first ball. Split, first volley. Now notice that the players right now in this exercise, are only practicing and focusing on one shot, making the first ball. Another way you can vary this exercise is you could have 6 or 8 players here going behind each other, switching sides of the court. They're playing the ball straight ahead where the alley portion of the court counts. And the goal that I have is have them stop, set up, and execute that first shot like I explained earlier. So we could have 8, 10 people in this line doing this exercise while these two are practicing the defensive skills or the return of the first ball. Okay, and the variation would be that they actually play out the point. Come on, you guys, play the point now. They're going to play the point out straight ahead with the volleyer in front of them. This way, you don't have any challenges on a somebody getting injured because they're trying to hit the ball straight. And again, we're working on front court skills and transition for these players. That's the goal that they have. And this is the first progression or step we use to teach serve and volley. Now we flip-flop the roles of the players. So this side becomes the defensive side, and the other side now becomes the attacking volleyer or first volley practice. So this side, their job is to get it back and play it out with the person in front of them. So there's 2 specific sets of skills. One are defensive skills or backcourt near the defensive portion, the letter D. And one set of skills is the front court portion, which is the kill attack zone area around the service line and forward. The next drill we have is called serve and volley. And I have the players play straight ahead where one player serves and they run in and transition themselves to the front portion of the court, the letter K or the letter A, which is attack zone or kill zone. Okay, so they're practicing what we've just worked on, and that's the next phase of development in the practice of serve volley. We incorporate the serve as the tool to get them forward. Wow, great point. Now I'm having them serve straight ahead. Normally you have to serve diagonally, but I'm having them do that just for the practice of doing this. And you could run 8, 10, 12, 16 players doing the exercise. And then each server here takes turns. You have different receivers potentially taking turns. Okay, and then they have to return it straight ahead in order to start the point. Okay, now I'm going to have them change the exercise a little bit. Anastasia, you got to serve cross court and come in, and Sally, you return there. And Maria will serve to Oksana, cross court, and come in. Now they're going to do this exercise, but they'll take turns. So as soon as Anastasia's done, Maria goes. And again, we're practicing the front court or what we call first volley. So it's a set of skills we use from the service line forward. This practice has doubles implications as well, because in doubles you want to return the ball cross court. We're just getting them to do the skill, but you have them do this exercise at a diagonal as opposed to straight ahead. This exercise is called passing shot. The players on that side are practicing their dynamic or running forehand, while the player on this side is practicing their cross-court volley when they're up in the kill zone, or what we call attack zone portion of the court. Now they're moving. I can keep the line going like this, okay, and the line keeps going, and then the volleyer, I can speed it up. So if I had multiple players, I could have 10 players on that side practicing the pass, while I have 5 or 6 players on this side practicing the volley. In this case, I just have 3 here and 1 volleyer right now, and I would take turns having this player execute the volley as well as the passing shot. So notice they're trying to go back down the line, so they practice their pass for the player who would run to net. And the player on this side practicing the volley. This is called passing shot, this drill. Now the coach can feed. You can play games like this. You can score points. Reward the volleyer for 2 points if they make it. If the passing shot girl makes it, then she gets 1 point. Okay, so that you can score teams if you want to do it, as well as just the individual practice. Okay. This is the other side of the coin. The player on this side is practicing their first volley again, and directionally cross court. So watch what the movement looks like. She's going there, that's it. Here we go. They're trying to play the pass down the line while she shuffles and protects the alley and then sets up for that first volley. Now notice the movement and the transfer of weight and the hand preparation. Great feet. Yep, great position. Oh, awesome volley. So this is called passing shot. We happen to be doing forehands down the line. We also, the same drill occurs on the backhand side, and I just can set up multiple lines, multiple practices, so they practice the execution of this volley cross court. So now you see the role of the player who's at the net as opposed to the defensive player who's at the back. This drill is called up-back. We have a front court player who introduces the ball to the back court player, and the back court player is required to lob the first shot. That means the volleyer, the front court player, has to hit an overhead smash, and then the point is in play. And again, they play straight ahead, and you could have multiple players. We just happen to have 4 players demonstrating. So you're working on 2 distinct sets of skills. The front court, which is attack zone and kill zone, and the back court, which is the portion of the court at the baseline, or defensive skills, okay, which is ground strokes, lobs, returning of the overhead smash. Okay, so there's 2 distinct sets of skills, and this is called up-back. Now this is the front portion of the court that we have the player, their role is to feed the ground stroke, feed the ball, and have them, the backcourt player, lob, so that they have to set up and execute the overhead, which again is a front court skill in tennis. So we have these players do this because I want them to develop not only for their doubles game, but their singles game when they have to run in from the front to the front portion of the court. Today we've covered the top exercises and player development exercises to produce a world-class player. These complement Robert Page's drills that are footwork exercises and training exercises so that this player has continuity in his development. And we want to thank you for watching the TMI video.